Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Anubis here with a brand new video for you guys today. Welcome to my channel. Do all the things the algorithm likes. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. And today we talk about XDefiant, which beta is in its last day today. But you guys see this video the next day on the 24th. So what is XDefiant? You know, I like to give a little bit of backstory in my reviews. This isn't a review, but just wanted to like let you know when it comes to those who want to like hear some knowledgeable XDefiant content or XDefiant commentary, because let's be honest, a lot of people open their mouths and say things, but most of them don't actually really play the games, or they'll play like a game or two and then stop playing it. I've been playing XDefiant since the very first tech tests and closed tests that Ubisoft were doing months ago, like maybe like longer than that. So like, but there's a bit for those who don't know. You might have only noticed that there's been like two betas: the open session right now, and then the previous closed beta recently. Ubisoft has done multiple tests under NDA before these two more open tests and closed betas that has recently happened. I took part in all of those tests, including these recent tests as well. So I've put a lot of time into XDefiant. I probably played more XDefiant than the average content creator that you will come across who posts XDefiant content. I probably played more XDefiant than most streamers if you've seen XDefiant. I played a lot of XDefiant. So, take that what you will. Maybe it'll validate some of the things that I have to say here when it comes to this video. And by all means, I don't want this to sound like, I'm gatekeeping who can and who can't criticize the game or, give the game its flowers and things like that. It's not what I'm saying. Just want to let you guys know where I'm coming from, so it doesn't be pushed aside as like, hater content or a honeymoon phase if I say anything positive. This video will contain both positive things and negative things. So, like I said, it's not a review, but we're going to talk about it because I feel like it's easier for the developers to see these kind of videos than, going to the forums and have to go through thousands of people who are saying almost the exact same thing. So the first thing I'll talk about when it comes to XDefiant is some of the things that I've heard people complain about. One of the things I saw someone complain about on social media was the game having too short of a TTK. TTK, so those what it stands for is time to kill. The game's time to kill is actually pretty good. I feel like for a lot of people, it's because they're used to battle royales. People who play battle royales a lot, they're used to it taking a pretty long time for you to do some damage or for you to be killed. So when they leave battle royales and go play a regular arena shooter or competitive shooter or just an arcade shooter, which XDefiant will be classified as an arcade shooter, similar to that of Call of Duty. So when people leave battle royales and then go play an arcade shooter, they're not used to how quick you can die in these games, especially when it comes to shooters like Rainbow Six Siege and Counter-Strike or Valor. When it comes to like any game where you die quicker, which these games usually have very quick TTKs where you can literally just turn a corner and be dead immediately. People who play battle royales aren't used to that, and because battle royales are the current dominant fad of FPS games, a lot of people who play them are going to go play other games and feel like, oh my god, I'm dying so quickly. This is terrible. The TTK of XDefiant is pretty good. I would say it's about around the same area as the current NW2 TTK, maybe a little quicker than that, but not by a lot though. Just like a little comparison, which I like. I love having a having a low TTK because it rewards actual gun skill. It rewards actual gunplay, instead of being able to because a lot of times when someone has like a high TTK, so let's say again battle royales, when you have a long time to kill, that allows for like people who don't have good awareness to be able to like basically get a kill, even though they probably weren't the best player in that gunfight. So let's say you're playing a game and you get the drop on somebody, you're shooting from behind, they turn around and they spray you down. Because also in video games, there's lag compensation and other things that are never, including flinch, that can kind of like help out someone who is, let's say, defenseless, be able to get a kill. So basically, there's things video games have like flinch, like a long time to kill, like lag comp, that kind of help worse players be able to get kills over good players. And I don't like that. I feel like every video game should be based on who is the better player, who has the better gun setup, who has the better playstyle, things like that. It shouldn't be based on these other mechanics that help weaker players do better. So having a short time to kill is really good for actual good gun fights, quick gun fights, and it allows you to be able to get some multi kills here and there. But also, if you aren't using a gun that's good at multi kills, you won't be able to do it because by the time you're done shooting one person, another person already ending you. So you will die quick in this game. And again, to me, that's a good thing. Another thing negative that I saw someone say, and honestly it was actually the same person, was that the game needs to have a battle royale. And again, I have to say this, not every game needs to have a battle royale. Some games are better by just having their own identity and doing their own thing and not following whatever the trends are in current gaming. Battle royales, for example, are actually on the back end. People are getting more fatigued about battle royales and want to get away from battle royales more so than not. That's why we're starting to see this birth of DMZ style games, extraction games. Ubisoft just come out with a division game that's going to be an extraction shooter. You know, it's turn calls popping off. DMZ from Warzone, people love talking about it. So that's where the future of gaming is going when it comes to like the trends, not battle royales. Battle royales still have a huge player base because people are just used to battle royales at this point. Not every game needs to have battle royale. When games waste their time, waste their development on putting battle royales out, the rest of the game suffers. You know, we saw Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 wasn't a very good game, and a lot of the reason was because DICE was putting too much time into battle royale that nobody asked for, and battle royale ended up dying because no one was playing it. So you add a battle royale to a game that doesn't need a battle royale, the battle royale is going to die out. Again, Fallout learned her way as well. Fallout 76 had a battle royale. Nobody played it because no one cared about it. People just wanted to play the regular game. And people want Halo to have a battle royale, and Halo kind of like flirted with the idea of it, but like you don't have the resources, the people to even do it because the rest of the game doesn't work properly. So why would you want to add a battle royale to a game that's already not even properly working? Not everything needs battle royale, and if you want to play battle royale, play the ones that exist. Go play Apex, go play Fortnite, go play Warzone. You know, not everything needs to have one just because you want to play battle royale. Play the ones you already play. I think XDefiant would be better off if it do what it's doing right now, which is basically being a game that's like a love story to old school shooters. A lot of times you watch XDefiant, comments and commentators and things like that, you hear people say it reminds them of old school Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. People will often compare it to like those old school arcade shooters because back then you didn't have battle royales. It was just all about just running around, running gun, have some fun, quick games, because the games do end pretty quickly. Even when it comes to like objective game modes will also end quickly too, especially if a team's curve something. There is no skill matchmaking, so you will get into games where you're just destroying teams, or might get to a game where it's very competitive, or your team might get destroyed. There's a lot of things some of the people really like, and you will start to see less of that if the developers are focusing on other things that it doesn't need to focus on. The first thing that the developers of this game is focused on is actually fine-tuning the game and making real improvements, not adding a game mode that will take a lot of time and effort like a battle royale. So what are those improvements that the developers could be working on? For one thing that they could start off at is audio. The game's audio isn't terrible, but footsteps need to be buffed. I feel like you just don't hear footsteps at all unless you stand completely still, and unless you're sniping, you don't really want to stand still in an arcade shooter, especially this shooter. So it's like, buff audio, because if there's anything that would frustrate you in any video game, is dying to someone who's sprinting behind you and you just couldn't hear them because the game, for whatever reason, doesn't want to buff footstep audio. That's becoming a trend in modern gaming where more and more games are nurturing audio when it comes to footsteps, because for whatever reason they feel like it's an advantage. Most people wearing gaming headsets, so no one's at a disadvantage or an advantage when it comes to footsteps. Mm-hmm. It's just a better quality of life thing that makes the game less frustrating. The other thing that I will say the game should improve on is how long it takes for you to stand up out of a slide. When you slide in this game, it takes you a full second to stand up. And that's awful. You will get frustrated. It doesn't happen a lot, but you'll get frustrated if you try to slide into a gunfight and then stand up, but yeah, you're taking too long to stand up, so now you're going to be dead because you took so long to stand up. Like, it just takes way longer than it needs to. Like, it's weird that it takes long to stand up. Another issue that I would say they can work on is hit reg. The hit reg in the game is mostly pretty good. Surprisingly, the hit reg is pretty good, but there are times where you're like, "Excuse you, game!" Like you're unloading somebody and they run away, and you're just like, "Huh?" It's rare, but it happens. The servers can use a little bit of a buff as well. Not buff in terms of like a weapon buff, but like they can use some love. Like, it wasn't always bad, but there was some games where it was like, all right, there's definitely some desync here. There's definitely a little bit of lag here. There were some moments where you'll end a game and it'll be stuck at loading for 9% for like a while. there hasn't been a lot of server issues with this game until like this recent open session where it's like, okay, yeah, this game needed this open session so they can stress test these servers, because apparently these servers ain't ready for it. But generally, when it comes down to this game, though, it's a lot of fun. You know, believe the hype when it comes to XDefiant, when it comes to like all the hype press you hear about XDefiant from other content creators, your friends. It's definitely a very fun game. It's definitely a very good game. And again, I've been playing a lot of it. This week on my stream, I played a lot of it every single day when they allowed us to get into it. For those who are like me, you got to play it an extra day early. But it's a very fun game. It's a very good game. I do feel like there's things that could be improved on, like as I said earlier in this video. When it comes to the factions, I've made videos before, watching my previous XDefiant videos, when it comes to like giving you a background on the factions. I feel like there's some factions that are unbalanced. I feel like there's some factions who use some tough love, and you base that on what you see. I'm sure developers get numbers, because every game studio mentions this, that they have numbers when it comes to showing like what classes are being used the most, what guns being used the most, what abilities being used the most. And if you look at XDefiant, you will see resoundingly that DeadSec is really being touched, because no one really cares about the DeadSec abilities. Like, I think I've seen one DeadSec per person, and I think I've seen two my entire time, period. Like, not even just like this open session, like just period, playing XDefiant. And you rarely see their abilities. Like, their abilities just aren't really as useful as the other class abilities are. Echelon's definitely the more overused class, and the class that I think needs to have some work on it. I feel like Echelon, I said before my faction video, Echelon has too much utility. You know, it's not necessarily saying they're too strong, but they have too much utility, and all that utility makes them overused, and also kind of makes it, you know, kind of frustrating to deal with, because, you know, instead of seeing, you know, this is 66 games, so instead of seeing like maybe like 2 Echelons and 2 Phantoms, and, you know, maybe a couple Libertad and things like that, you're just seeing like, you're seeing teams of like 4 Echelons and 2 Libertads, or 3 Echelons and 1 Phantom and 2 Libertads. Like, it is kind of ridiculous. And the reason why they're unbalanced folks who don't play the game is Echelon has the best utility in the game, and that's being able to go invisible. They have a cloak. That cloak has no downsides to it. There's no sound cue for it. If you play Halo, you know how Halo cloaks work. If someone uses the cloak in Halo, you get multiple red dots on your screen. It doesn't tell you where someone's at, but it lets you know that you're in the area of someone who's wearing cloak. If you play Rainbow Six Siege, Visual has a cloak. When Visual uses this cloak and you have your drone out, you get some distortion on your drone, let you know Visual's in the area. Basically, what I'm trying to say is these games have ways for you to know that someone's using a cloak. And XDefiant, if someone's using a cloak, they're just using a cloak. Like, you don't get, there's no indication of it, no nothing. It's not overpowered, but it's just, when you have that ability on the same character who also has a one-shot kill pistol alt, and the same class that has a radar beacon for a class ability, then it starts to get a little oppressive, because there's just too much utility. You have a cloak that has no downsides to it. You have you turn your character, you don't put down a radar beacon, you don't call in a UAV or something like that. The person becomes a radar beacon, so wherever they go, they're pinging locations of the enemy players on the map for their team, for themselves. No downsides to that. And again, they're all a one-shot kill pistol. You compare that to the other classes of the game, you feel like you notice, okay, this is too much utility. You think about Phantoms, they have 3 shields. Why? Like, this isn't, when it comes to like them having 3 shields, this isn't too much utility. This is why. As in, they don't need 3. You can give a shield to somebody else. You can give a shield to another faction, or you can give it to Echelon. You can give it to the cleaners. Why does one class have 3 shields? They have an actual riot shield, electromagnetic shield, and their alt's a shield that have a shotgun range gun inside of. And the alt's fine. I'm not saying anything about the alt. I'm just saying there's too many shields for Phantoms, and they're called the Phantoms, but they don't have a cloak. Like, I feel like if you gave the electromagnetic cloak to the Phantoms, and then you gave the electromagnetic shield to Echelon, that would be, you know, a little bit better. It'll be more balanced, because again, you're giving one person, you're taking away a shield from someone who has 3 shields. You're taking away someone who has so much utility, and giving it to someone who name actually, you know, matches that utility. And that's really what it comes up to. Like, I don't feel like the cleaners are too weak or too strong. They're in a fine spot. Libertad, they're in a fine spot. I do feel like they can buff DedSec. I do feel like they should do something when it comes to Echelon being so overused and having so much utility. But outside of that, I think the game itself, when it comes to how it plays and how it works, is all pretty good. Like, I don't want it to sound like I'm just, giving this game a hard time for, how strong Echelon is or how bad freaking DedSec is and the lag and things like that. No. This is meant to be mostly a positive video where I'm giving feedback to the developers themselves who may see this video. They probably won't, because nobody. But for them to see the video and see, what someone who's been playing the game for as long as I've been playing it, is feeling towards the game. For the most part, the maps in this game are amazing. There's not one map I've played on where I was like, okay, this map sucks. You watch my live stream, there is no maps where I was like, this map sucks, or I can't stand this map, I want to get off this map. I call it Arena chaotic, but it's not a negative thing. I call it chaotic because that's what it is. It's an arena full of people, so there's a high chance of just constant gunfights, constant deaths, constant kills. You see some arena gameplay in this video. And it's fun. Chaos is fun to shooters. You want that chaos. So that's not a negative thing when I say arena is chaotic. There are no bad maps in this game so far. I don't know if there's going to be more maps in the full release, which comes out, I think, like late July or August. But for the most part, everything about this game, other than the negatives I mentioned in this video, has been good to a point to where I want to keep playing this game. I can't wait for the game to fully come out because I'm going to be playing a lot. So follow me on my Twitch stream to see some live gameplay. XDefiant when it comes out. Follow me on here to see more XDefiant content and things like that. And even when it comes to things like, if you need somebody to play with, there's a lot of solo players and shooters nowadays. If you peep my streams, there's a good chance that you might be invited to play. I don't mind playing with viewers. So XDefiant, good game. I enjoy it. Can't wait for the 4 months to come out. Hope you all have been enjoying it as well. Let the developers know. Let developers know on Twitter and on the forums that you enjoyed the game, because they can use that energy, some positive energy from the player base. Let them know that, hey, we enjoy the work that you're doing. You guys do a lot of hard work, and it ain't easy to make a video game. It ain't easy to promote these video games, especially when it's a free-to-play game. You could make this game at a loss and make any money off battle pass and things like that, because maybe people just don't want to spend money. Like, we just saw an article from Valve that they're taking out battle passes in like Dota because they said no one buys them. So let developers know that you appreciate the games they come out with. With all that said, I've been your boy Nubis. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Do all these awesome likes, like the video, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, link being box below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Deuces.